How we learned what leadership really is. Let's start far back, not in a classroom, but in civilization itself. As a civilization, we've been thinking about leadership for more than 2,000 years. In ancient Greece, leadership was discussed through philosophy, ethics, and politics. Plato asked who should rule. Aristotle asked how leaders should act for the common good. Leadership was seen as virtue, character, and responsibility, not yet science, but moral inquiry. Scientific study of leadership, however, is much younger, roughly the last 100 years. And our understanding evolved in clear stages, each correcting the limits of the previous one. The first scientific idea was the great man theory. The assumption was simple. Leaders are born, not made. Leadership was explained by exceptional individuals, kings, generals, heroes, people with almost mythical qualities. This made leadership rare, static, and exclusive. If you weren't born a leader, you were out. History proved this insufficient, so we moved to the second stage, trait theories. Instead of asking who, researchers asked what. What traits do leaders have? Confidence, intelligence, dominance, charisma. This was progress, but it still fell short. Because traits alone could not explain why the same person succeeded in one situation and failed in another. Which brought us to the third stage, context. Leadership was no longer seen as universal. It depended on the situation. This group of theories showed that leadership effectiveness changes with environment, task, complexity, group maturity, uncertainty. A leader who succeeds in stability may fail in crisis. A leader who thrives in crisis may fail in routine. Leadership became conditional. Then came the fourth step, behavior. The focus shifted from who leaders are to what leaders do. Researchers examined task-oriented behavior, people-oriented behavior, decision styles, communication patterns. The message was powerful. Leadership can be learned because behavior can be learned, but something was still missing because leadership is not just action, it's interaction. So we entered the fifth stage, relationship-based leadership. Here, leadership was understood as something that happens between people, not inside one person. Trust, influence, meaning-making, followership. Leadership became a social process, not a personal possession. And yet, even this wasn't enough. Because modern problems are not isolated, they are complex, interconnected, and systemic, which brings us to the final stage, systems leadership and adaptive leadership. Adaptive leadership starts from a hard truth. Many of today's challenges have no technical solution. You cannot fix them with expertise alone. You cannot delegate them away. You cannot solve them from the top. They require changes in behavior, values, roles, and relationships across the system. Adaptive leadership is not about giving answers. It is about mobilizing adaptive behavior. It means surfacing real conflicts instead of suppressing them, orchestrating tension between competing factions, protecting uncomfortable voices, regulating distress, so people stay engaged, shifting responsibility to where the work actually happens. The leader is no longer the hero. The leader is the orchestrator of learning. So when we look back, the evolution is clear, from heroic individuals to traits, to context, to behavior, to relationships, to systems and adaptive action. Leadership today is not about control. It is about movement, not about authority, but about enabling societies, organizations, and institutions to change themselves. That is where leadership has arrived. And that is the leadership our time demands. Ufunds.news is continuously evolving with cutting-edge training videos on innovation management.